Before I say anything else, let me first acknowledge that I am very grateful, extremely grateful for my job. It has given me a tremendous amount of flexibility. It allows me to be at home at 2:30 when the school bus pulls up. And yet at the same time, I'm not naturally gifted at it. It's a sales job, and frankly, I'm passive-aggressive. That's something I'm working on. And that's something you cannot be in sales. I've actually heard myself on the phone after someone tells me, yeah, we'll do that. I've actually heard the words come out of my mouth, oh, you don't have to say yes or no today. I'll send you the information, look it over, and I'll call you back tomorrow. And then I do call them back tomorrow, and they've changed their mind. What's strange is I come from a family of salespeople. My father works at a high-end department store selling suits to men, and he is very successful. The reason he's successful is he honestly sees what he does as providing a service. Someone comes in to buy a suit, and suddenly my father's saying, you know what, I have a tie that'll go great with that. And so the guy ends up buying a suit, a couple of ties, a couple of shirts, some cufflinks, and my father really feels that he has helped them out. By contrast, I feel anytime I'm making a sale that I'm asking for a favor. There's a line in the Bible, and this is why I bring all this up, that tells us to work as if we're working for the Lord. That's one of the hardest commandments, I think, in all of Scripture. And to understand that commandment, to really come face to face with it, you can't study a guy who's making $2 or $3 million a year, nor can you study a guy with a really cool job. To really understand that line, to work as if you're working for the Lord, you have to go out and meet somebody who does a job that, frankly, maybe we would look down at. And so today, our story begins on the street corner.
When I honk, like I get honks and I get the thumbs up and they say, all right. It's like appeasing, it's like applause, you know.
This is a typical day in the life of Harry Elson. At noon, we meet up with him outside of a burger joint. A few hours later, during the evening commute, he's dressed as a slice of pizza. He is what we call a street performer. His job is to get motorists to pull in. It probably sounds like anyone can do this. You may want to pick up that sign, there you go. But in Wilmington, Harry Elson is considered the best of the best. This is a guy who clearly loves his job, who works like he is working for the Lord. And because of that, he works all the time, 2 gigs a day, dancing and waving. At one point or another, for one business or another, he's performed at all the major intersections in town and has dressed in a variety of costumes. In fact, he is in such demand, well, consider this. Today he is dancing for incredible pizza, but only a few weeks ago, he worked for another pizza place directly across the street until the two joints had a small bidding war. But that is not why he is doing it. Instead, Harry is motivated by sharing God's love.
I believe God is in all of us. Yeah. So the goodness of me is like part of God. That's a God that I like to have, the goodness. Yeah. So I believe I have that goodness in me, so I'm like working through, you know.
Yeah. And then, if on cue, while we were out with him, Harry's radio started playing a song that tells us to accent the positive and forget about the negative. Nobody ever called Harry Elson Mr. In-Between.
Can you get home? Yay!
You know, meeting a guy like Harry should change me. It should give me new hope for work. But the truth is that when I go into the office tomorrow, I'm still going to start the day off by praying for patience and praying that God will provide. So maybe there's another lesson to Harry's story that I can take home. I've learned in all things, said Paul, how to be content. I don't know what the secret to happiness is, but I know more about depression than I'd care to admit. I think I've gone through 2 depressions in my life. Once was as a teenager, the other was right before I turned 30. And what I know about depression is it's always focused on the big picture. It's always based on a belief that things are never going to get better. Maybe happiness, then, is the exact opposite. Maybe happiness focuses on the smaller events in life. Harry's a guy who simply learns how to smile when a motorist waves back or toots a horn. If I cannot learn to work as if I'm working for the Lord, then maybe I can learn how to be content. Next week, we're going to focus, well, we're going to ask a question next week. Of all the people who've ever lived in the history of the world, who is the most influential? It is not Jesus. That's not my opinion. That's an opinion of a study that was recently conducted. And I think when you hear the reasons why Jesus isn't number one, you may end up agreeing with it. I'm Doug Wahl in North Carolina. I hope you come back next week, and I hope you'll share this video on your Facebook page. God bless.